Hello there, everybody, HeroicLegend here. We are back with some Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I did a quick refresher on my decks. So, as is always the case, I'm going to be using this to explain them and my thoughts behind them. You're free to add your own inputs. Tell me what you think I did that was fun or cool, or what you think just might be lame even. You know, I'm fully accepting of that. I will be explaining my thought process as I go along. But first, we're going to go with the one that I have kept from everything else, which is why it's still in the different box. And that is my Dancing on Strings gimmick puppet deck. So, it's gimmick puppets, where our goal is it's always been the same for gimmick puppets. We're going to blow up your field. Period. Now, I feel like I could make some changes and cuts here and there. The only reason we have 2 Rainbow Bridges is because of the fact that I would want to have it in hand to ditch for purposes. If there were any adjustments I would make to this deck, it would be probably the ratios. But otherwise, I am a big fan of the deck itself. It's always been fairly consistent. It's been good. I still remember my plays and how I'm supposed to do them. I did watch the Team Samurai X video to figure out how to make this deck and do it, and I have loved it ever since. Again, changes I would make is probably maybe adding the win con card. But we got 1 Droll, 1 Max, 3 Ashes, Nobleman, Foolish Burial Goods, again, another good one to get rid of Rainbow Bridge. Foolish Burial to get rid of our 3 Rogue Dolls. We have only 2 copies of MC and 1 copy of Happy, because MC and Happy can make any of the rank 8 Exceeds gimmick puppets, although it will be a little bit problematic for making one of them that does better when it has a gimmick puppet attached, but that's neither here nor there. We have 2 of the King Sarcophagi to make sure that we can get out MC, or we can use MC's effect to help ditch things, as well as the fact that MC and King Sark also combo nicely with Rainbow Bridge. That's why we have 2 and 1 Happy. We only have the 2 of the Ardent rank up Magic Chaos Force, not because I can't make it, I actually could, but because it is my idea that having the 2 is... You don't really need more than the 2. We do have 3 of the Mansion of Dreadful Dolls, because it is a very, very strong card that we do want to keep for a lot of good plays. That's why we have 3 of our little soldiers here. 1 of the Crystal Cobalt Beasts, because we don't have any other real options. On top of that being a 4-star, leads us to the potential with the 4-star. Oh no, wait, we need Gimmick Club Launch. So he's just here to basically activate the cost of Rainbow Bridge. It's whatever. We have only 2 Terror Babies, because Terror Babies is used to help kind of facilitate the rest of the OTK combo. Bisque Doll I've used actually to great effect in stopping my opponent whenever they have managed to do things whenever I do not have a Dreadful Dolls. And of course, Cattle Scream is our favorite card to just deal big damage to the opponent early on. The Condolence Puppet is very good for sending the gimmick puppets different names, even on my own turn. Crossout Designator is just here to stop Troll, Ash, and Maxi at times if I don't have it in hand. Imperms to help disrupt my opponent, and of course, Service Play in case they do survive. Now, as a quick reminder, gimmick puppet plays tend to go like this. So, Mansion. Activate Mansion, we get Little Soldiers. Little Soldiers activate their effect, and we would send another copy of Rogue Doll away to get Rogue Doll back. We could also set up more of the graveyard by using Condolence, by putting away Bisque Doll for just in case. But that's neither here nor there. And from there, it's standard gimmick puppet affair. We go into Phantasmax, who then goes into Fantastics Machinex. Helps bring out Strings, who then evolves into C40 Strings, Dark Strings. Use Dark Strings effect, constantly just looping Dark Strings, and of course Chimera to get out Terror Baby. Terror Baby then is normal summon thanks to the effect of Fantastics. And of course we get back another C40, who then explodes as well, because these C40 effects are soft once per turn, so each of them can use it. It is a very consistent, very strong deck. I do like it a lot. I don't know if there's any more I could really add to this deck, and I really just do like it as is. It's very strong, and I appreciate having it as part of my arsenal. I really do appreciate Team Samurai X for showing me the power of the puppets. Next up is an Enneacraft deck that is a work in progress because I don't have the dust for it. Very similar to... I've realized a lot of it... A part of this is the Konami built variant, and I will explain things as I go along. Obviously, if my opponent somehow lives to turn 3, and we get to turn 4, you know, I have no one but myself to blame, but we do have countermeasures against that. We have 3 of the Planet Pathfinders because we're not really using a normal summon. So using that to search out our field spell, Enneopolis is why that's there. We have 2 Droll Lock because Droll Lock is basically a necessity at this point. I hope it stops, you know, the main problem children of the archetypes around. We have 2 of these, 3 of the UR, 3 of the R, 2 of the N, 3 of this N, 2 of this SR, 3 of this SR because I actually realized this SR is pretty gnarly. 3 of the UR, 3 of this SR, only 2 of this SR because, well, just saying that your whole chain is null is hilarious. I don't want to risk having to wait for a chain 3 to activate when there are the other ones that can do their effects better and more consistently. Of course, we have 3 of the UR spell card, we have 3 of Reverif, we have 2 of the reset, we have 3 of the field spell, and then here's where we differentiate from probably other decks, as we're a 45 card deck. We have Prohibition to stop enemy Rolling Locks, and we also have Crossout Designator for that exact same reason. Because we are just relying on muscling through any and all hand traps. Now, I think there was a card that around here that I used to ditch the extra deck, which is why we have Garuga. We have Aggregator, because Aggregator can be actually exceeds if we have 2 face-up Enneacraft 9 stars. And I felt like his effect was also really strong, too. We also have Canine X Werewolf, because of Werewolf's effects as well. Again, if we made it to my opponent's turn, that's on me. You know. That's also why we have 2 of the IP, 2 of the Little Knights, 1 Blackluster Soldier, because Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, is just very strong. He's a tower and a boss monster in his own right. We have some disruption with Gorgon for just in case I can get that out on my turn and still set up a board. We have WP Fantasy Ball because it's a shiny. Same thing with Abrimaxi. Actually, Cold Talker. Okay, we have a whole bunch of standard Link stuff because we will be flooding the field. And again, if this does not work, if they do not die to burn, I will just run you over with towers and things of that nature. With towers and just big boss monsters. And again, Garuga's just here to get ditched, because we draw a card that way. Thank you, Garuga. Your service is appreciated. Moving on, we have the Royal Fiends deck, which is, and yes, I called it Evil Flipper, because it's a very evil deck. This is the Royal Archfiend type of deck. We did use parts of the Konami Auto Builder, but we also built in some slots here and there where we wanted to. I am running, again, 2 Droll, 3 Ash, 2 Bell. That is pretty much it. Where we differentiate a lot is what you're going to see coming up soon, but for the Archfiend cards, we have, of course, the Heiress at 2, the Highness at 3, the Duke at 2, the Royal at 3, the Eccentric at 2, Matador at 2, Miracle Raven at 2, Emperor at 3, thank you, Jamer, Matriarch at 3, thank you, Jamer, a Pot of Extravagance, because we don't super care about the extra deck. I will get into why we do care a little, but that comes later. Mutiny in the Sky at 2. Again, I will explain later. Writing of Rights at 2. Arching Strategy at 3. Ritual of the Matador at 1. Throne of the Archfiend at 2. Sinful Spoils of the White Forest at 2. Archfiend's Usurpation at 3. Ghastly Glitch at 2. Fimule at 1. Playtime at 1. Call of the Archfiend at 1. And Fervor at 1, because these 2 have their own effects. Basically these can all be bought out through use of other means, and I feel like it would be fairly useful. Now, going into the extra deck, we have, of course, Lucille, the Dust Dark, which can be used in case we have our extra monster zone taken up by either our Emperor or our Matriarch. It can come down. I should be using it more, forgive me. It can come down to help protect Matador from, all other forms of destruction besides battle. On top of that, it's good for recursion. And of course, Mutiny in the Sky can help load back up our deck with our Archfiends in case they got there and we can't get them back out. On top of that, we have Chaos Angel, which can be made with a couple of combinations here. But Chaos Angel is just another useful thing to help protect Matador. It's mostly for protecting the extra zone monsters from non-monster effects, effectively. And I've always considered Chaos Angel as a bit of a Archfiend in their own right. I like the idea that this is Summon Skull's grandmother. We have Zeus and Typhon because, Typhon's actually a fiend, so we could potentially get him out with other, more locking effects. And, of course, Zeus, if Typhon survives the turn, is just good to go into. We, of course, have 2 IP. We have a Predaplant to help facilitate possibly getting out Loose. But also because Predaplant can make things dark, which helps out with Chaos Angel effect. Muckraker from the Underworld, because she's a pretty decent card, and good for Fiend and Fiend support in general. Gorgon for disrupting our opponents in case we need to. Just like Stall for a turn, WP, Mech Knight, our typical. Link Mail is one of the ones that we've added in here because we can get it out by using also Ritual, etc. And, of course, starting a Ritual and in the graveyard and then making our opponent's cards lose damage is very strong because it's targeting for me, but not targeting for my opponent. And also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control or special from the extra deck with monster effects. So if he's down and in a linked spot because of the link zone, I feel like he's very strong. On top of that, being an Archfiend allows him to get a lot of the benefits from the other Archfiend cards into play. Abao Q is, of course, another strong Fiend support type of card. Well, the Fiend card in general, he can also move away from the extra monster zone, which we can use to then put in other things. And because she has a link spot to her left and her right, that's also easy linking around with Archfiend, Mech Knight, etc., and all other companies. Again, Gorgon really is just here as a filler. And of course, we can't have Fiends without the Goddess. This is my Royal Archfiend deck. Again, I am waiting to get more dust, hopefully. Or just maybe get the cards themselves. I know Matador is not in the current rotation, and neither, I believe, is Readying of Rights, but... Moving on, we have Cream, which, for those of you who understand this, the meaning of Cream is cast rules everything around me. That's right, it's a king. The Cashier deck. I'll accept your boos and hatred another time. For now, let me explain the deck. So, starting off, for the hand traps and non-engine sort of dealies, we have, of course, 1 Veiler, because crossed out, 2 Droll, 1 Bug, still waiting for that to get rid of, be gone, Konami, 3 Ash, 1 D-Shift, 1 Nib, 1 Harpies and 1 Heavy, 1 Reinforcement, though I would count Reinforcement as more a helping out. Same thing with Rhyptophobia. 1 Call By, 1 Crossout, 2 Chaos Distills, 3 Imperms, and 1 Macrocosmos. Now, Chaos Distill can search out Macrocosmos, which is part of the reason why we have it, but it also makes sure that anything that we have gets banished, which is very strong for us, because it automatically means that any card, instead of being banned, instead of being going to the graveyard, will instead be banned, and we can get it back with preparations, which is why preparations is 2. For the Cashier cards, we of course have 3 Rise Heart, 3 Fenrir, my boy's back. Unicorn is at 2. Ogre is at 2. Scareclaw is at 2. And Tier Limits will never be released from its 1 prison, and that is a good thing. But, of course, 1. We, of course, have 3 Theosis. We have 1 Planet Wraithsloth, alongside the Planet Reichphobia. We have 3 Birth. We have 2 Big Bang, because Big Bang is actually very useful if I'm somehow only left with just Shangri-La. And Big Bang basically says, oh, you have a nice big board? Get rid of them. And of course, we have 2 Crafts. With a 45 card deck, I have very much loosened my restrictions. A little bit of background lore about me as a person. I used to run 50, 60 card decks because I wanted to put as much, stuff into my deck as possible. It was only when I came to things like Duel Links and Master Duel that I started easing off the pedal a bit, as well as my club in my high school, where my friends taught me the importance of shortening my decks down, which I did do during those days. For the extra deck, we have Baron and Supreme Sword Soul Sovereign. He is just here because he works really well with banishing things. Baron is, of course, a one-time protection. And then, just, being annoying. I might also see her as 112 face. Okay, I'm now understanding her effect more. We only have 1 Big Eye because, as funny as it is to take our opponent's things, Big Eye without protections just gets bullied. I would much rather use my cashier to instead burn my opponent to death, so that's why we have 2 Flare medals. Of course, only 2 Shangri-Las and 2 Arise Hearts. Controversial, I know, but I feel like these 2 don't need to be at 3, because Shangri-La only gets out things if they're in the deck, and Arise Heart, it will just... Arise Heart crumples to a lot, so... leaving him at... having a 3rd copy of him when he can only really... When his strengths, in my opinion, are best suited at being out on my turn, is why he's at 2. And of course, if he does manage to survive long enough, going to Zeus. Typhon is here because it's Typhon. Then we have a standard, what I call package for links, which is IP, Little Knight, Avi Maxi, and then of course the Goddess, because we can easily get out the Goddess using 4 Cashiras and then one of our opponent's things. Little Knight is here to just be annoying, but if we have to, we can IP into her. And because we have access to so many Exceeds, Avermax can still come out as long as we use one of these. And Goddess is Goddess. So that is the cream deck. This one just pretty much needs to be accessorized. Grandpa's Pride. Everything past these, anything that's not named Work in Progress is something that I would consider a deck that I can be using right now. And that is why I'm going into great lengths to explain that. Grandpa's Pride, it's a Exodia deck. It's an Exodia deck for the Exodia cards. It's a 50 card deck. It's a little bit bulky, it's a little bit cluttered, but I will explain my reasons. So, once again, non-engine and hand traps and such, I should be saying, or not stop my opponent, basically, or interrupts, right? For interrupts, we have, of course, Effect Veilers at 2, Maxi at 1, Ash Blossoms at 3, Bells at 2, 1 Molcharmi Puru, and 1 Molcharmi Pua, because I don't tend to use them all that much, so I only have the 1 copy, but at the same time, I also feel like they get really easily stopped at times, so it's better to just have 1 and 1 and not have them be a draw, especially at multiple copies. You can say that for a lot of things, but this is my reasoning for why they're at 1 tier. We have 2 Lava Golems, because Lava Golem is hilarious. And we're not really normal summoning in this, so it's not the biggest hit to our power. We have 1 Nibiru, we have 2 Raigeki, we have 1 Harpies, 1 Heavy, we have 2 Dark Ruler No Mores, we have 1 Called By, we have 1 Crossout Dez, and the standard Exodia stuff. I do have 3 Ons, but only 2 Exodias, because, as I told Jamer, I dismantled 1, and the reason why is because if I have to bring out a 3rd Exodia, the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate, the match is just going on too long. We, of course, have the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, because it is another good, explaining simply, I've already trailed off, I'm sorry. But Doom Dragon, I can use 2 monster cards in my spawn trap zone for easy getting out of this, and if this card touches my target 1 monster facing in the field, put it in its owner's spell and trap as continuous. Flash is good for removal purposes, and on top of that, I'm not too choked up about it if it's my turn and you've stopped their effects, so then just ditch them both to bring this out. We have Wallow for taking our opponent's stuff because we do have quite a few 6-stars. We have enough 6s to make use of it, I would argue. That's also why this guy's here, for just in case he was an interesting tech pick I put in, because just inflicting double damage and just inflicting double damage, period. Okay, it's just to, like, I don't know, I think I have to put him in here because I think he's mean. He'd basically just be used to get out Zeus. Big old beak-sick monster. We, of course, have Typhon because Typhon's funny. We have Nightmare Phoenix along with a bigger Link package because of obvious reasons. But Nightmare Phoenix and IP would just go into Avimaxi, and a second IP to go into Little Knight. We have Unicorn as well for this, and then, of course, we have Goddess. For the deck, it's pretty much standard Exodia Flare, 5 pieces of the Forbidden One. We have 1 Maiden of the Millennium and 1 Fiend Reflection of the Millennium, because Maiden's really good for protecting Exodia while it's, you know, not my turn. And Fiend is good for keeping my life points up. We have 3 of the Shield, because the Shield gets out the Onks. Golem that guards is good for getting out our, if I remember correctly, it's the Temple. Gaia is here for disrupting. Sengenton is pretty obvious what he does. He gets out any Millennium monster, which helps out a lot. And of course, Heart of Blue Eyes at 2, because I don't often want to see his face when he just... But he is also good for searching out the Ankh for free. And of course, we have the 3 Ankhs, the 2 Wuju, 3 Exiled Fires of Rage, and then 2 Obliter... Oh, I think I remember this was the reason? Oh yeah, no, if this card is destroyed, you can shuffle a normal monster from your graveyard into your deck, and then special summon this card. So basically, we would use him, get rid of him, or allow him to be gotten rid of after using something like Obliterate. He's here for stalling purposes. And, you know, bringing back our cards that we've gotten away with Obliterate. That's why the deck is 50. Again, all these decks, if you want, please, in the comments, let me know. I will put these up on the site so you can see them. I will link them in either in a post or in another video, but you have to let me know if you want that. Come catch these Hecka Hands, because I'm funny. Please laugh. Maybe clap a little. Come catch these Hecka Hands, a Hecka Hand deck that I have modified from its original version. Unlike the original version, which had a little bit more zaniness, I'd say, this is a little bit more what I would call standard, but with my own twist on it. Of course, we only have 2 Droll, 3 Ash. We don't want to clutter up the deck with hand traps that don't serve my purpose. We, of course, have 2 Master Tali Enchanters. We have 3 Nightmare Apprentice, we have 3 Iptel, we have 3 Yadel, we have only 2 Mankibil, we have 1 Nightmare Magician, because he is just a win con on his own. We have 2 Godos, because I don't like putting in 3 copies of any of the 7-star Hekkas, and which is also why we have Brius and Gygas at that. We also have 2 Queen Azaminas, I'll explain in a moment. 3 hidden Hecka Hands, 3 Sinful Spoils White Forest, 2 Tartaros, 2 Ibal, 2 Yadal, and 1 Bait. Our extra deck is where you will see the reason why we have that, but going into it. Well, first off, I believe Queen does count for getting sent to the graveyard. Okay, not for her effect, because hers is a discard. It's not a sending trigger, but yeah, no, she's also here because of what we can do with her, which is the plan here. So, in the extra, we have 2 Dandalos, we have 3 Jalza, we have 2 Xeno. We have 1 Saint Azumina and 1 Azumina. 2 IPs, 1 Predaplant, 1 Little Knight, Avaramax, and Goddess. So the Azuminas are here because we can get out Saint Azumina, and we can use this or maybe that one also struggles with the Nightmare Apprentice problem. Oh no, we can use it for this. Or we can use possibly Queen Azumina for Heka Hand as well if we bring her out in some manner. But the idea is also using Predaplant and Saint Azumina and Queen Azumina as things. The idea is to use them for their own fusion stuff, as well as just special summoning illusions. There's a mix here, but believe in my mix. I think this is a good variant of this deck. I may try to improve it further by adding in more cost cards that make me send to the graveyard. But for now, this is the version that I wanted to try. I still think Heka Hand with the Azuminas are pretty good for, you know, being cheeky with it. Those are my thoughts. Moving on, we have the Heroes Assemble. This one might make hero players throw up. I ask you to please understand me. 50 card hero deck. I know, it's a very small hero deck compared to probably... No. So, we're going to start off with the extra deck first this time, because I feel like this will explain things a little bit. We have 1 Dark Law, 1 Sunrise, 1 Absolute Zero, 1 Trinity. They're all 1 of, I believe. No, except for 1. 1 Acid, 1 Malicious Bane, 1 DPE, 1 Shining Neos, 1 Flame Wingman, Infernal Rage, 2 Contrast Heroes, 1 Dominance, 1 Neos Lord, 1 Wonder Driver, and 1 Cross Crusader. So we are a hero pile, I would call it, in being so fair. We have 2 Neos for this, 2 Vision Hero Increases, 2 Deniers, 3 Stratos, 2 Vylon, 3 Fountain, 2 Shadow Mist, 1 Celestial, 2 Solid Soldiers, 3 Liquid Soldiers, 2 Liquid Soldiers, 2 Dead Imprisoned, 2 Ferris, 1 Necrom, 1 Sister Necrom, 3 Malicious, 1 Honest Neos, 1 Spirit of Neos, 1 Plasma, 2 Polymerizations, 1 Reinforcements, 2 Miracle Fusions, 3 Hero Lives, 1 Dark Fusion, 1 Mass Change, 1 Mass Charge, 2 Fusion Destiny, 1 Mass Change, 1 Alt-Art Mass Change, 1 Mass Change 2, and then 3 Favor Contacts. The whole goal, I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain it, is just using hero stuff to do hero things. I think if I were to try it out right now, yeah, you can already see how things are faring out. Now again, not destined to look that way. 50 card is a little bit more consistent. The deck that I'm excited to show you is the Sacred Gods of Horus, because when scrapping the decks, I forgot to not scrap this one, but here is the updated variant of it. So it is a Sacred Beast, Egyptian God, Morganite Horus deck. A pile, in the truest sense of the word. Because all these things can do well as individual pieces, but they can also do pretty well together. So, going around. 3 Chaos Summoning Beasts, 3 Dark Beckoning Beasts, 1 Cobalt Eagle, because it's a Cobalt Eagle, 3 Morgana Witch of Eyes, 2 Dark Summoning Beasts, 2 Phantasmal Summoning Beasts, 3 Empty, 1 of each of his buds, 1 Obelisk, 1 Slifer, 1 Ra, 1 Uria, 1 Haman, 1 Raviel, 1 Ball for the ball, 1 Raviel, Shimmering Scrapper, 3 Guardian Slimes, 1 Ancient Chant, and yes, I know Guardian Slime loses the ability to be special for free, but if we have Guilt Gripping and Time Tearing, we don't need to worry about doing that. We could just summon him. 1 Ancient Chant, 2 of each of the Morganites, 2 of Mounted Bound, 2 of Fallen Paradise, 2 of Opening of the Spirit Gates, 3 of the King Sark, 1 of the Rainbow Bridge, and 2 of the Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. Now, the goal is pretty obvious. beat you over the head with either the Sacred Beast or the God cards, and use them to be disruptive. The obvious kind of duds are unfortunately Uriah and Ra, but because Ra can be bought out with Sphere Mode and just be used to be annoying, and Aurea can just target opponents, set spells and traps, and either make them use it or destroy it. No, oh, you have a set spell? Go. And of course, Ra is Ra. Yeah. We have 3 Egyptian God Signs in the extra deck. Of course, your standard Horus package, which is Hope, Dingirsu, Zombie, and the Infection Buzz King, who has been added to us. And of course, it's Typhon. Typhon's here. Everyone loves Typhon. No, I will still stand by having her over Zeus, because Zeus doesn't really gain too much unless we put him over Buzz King. 1 IP, 1 Little Knight, 1 Lusty Soldier, because he's just, again, a good holding body. Force the Gorgon to disrupt my opponent. Crusadia is a duh, Borland is another duh, and Goddess. The deck was slimmed down from 60 to 50 to give it a little bit more consistency and give us a little bit more options. There is a ton of things that will mix the opponent. If they banish me from Exceeds, I can just go into Fusions and Links. Banish me from Links, Exceeds, and Fusions. No Fusions, that's fine. They were the smallest pack here to begin with. Again, our whole goal is just massive damage using our advantages that we gain, hopefully from the Morganites or from the Fallen Paradise draws. And of course, we would be just ditching Fallen Paradise for Mound. It's a very gimmicky deck, but I like it. I feel like even getting 1 win with it is worth way more than getting a win with your standard archetypes that are currently in rotation in the meta until the next strong thing comes out. But it's a pet deck. Literally, it's just a pet deck. If I beat you with it, if I'm playing it against you, I'm goofing around, obviously. And if I beat you with it, I'm gonna just like parade around the streets. Finally, there's this. The real deck that I want to be strong. The Vendread deck, a version of it. I've recently crafted 2 copies of Metanus Dryturn, as well as 1 copy of Clockwork Knight. This is to make a Vendread like how I used to do in... like I've wanted to do ever since Duelist. By using Hound, Sturgis, Core, and Revenants for protection, card advantage, popping, banishing, we could make a strong slave. Even if we have to... Even if it will force us to use Sturgis and Revenants. But, on top of that, we have our standard Vendread affair. So, I'll just explain the deck going from the top. Again, this is another one of those, if we get hit with hand trap, we just have to hope that we can tank through. So, and we have ways of overcoming hand traps. So we have Vendread Core and Sturgis at 1. Carbuncle is here strictly for one of the extra deck options. Unizombie is here because he is Unizombie, and any deck that has zombie cards should definitely do stuff. And of course, we want him to be in our opening hand for, if we're using the Clockwork Knight stuff. Hound Horde is at 2, along with Revenants, because they are just the best ones to have at 2. Scar's at 3. Mezuki and Gozuki are at 1, because they are very, very vulnerable, and one of those things where I don't want to be stuck with them effectively. We have a Horus Engine here, because the Horus Engine is kind of needed to help ditch things and hopefully get them back. On top of that, they can be used to get out Reproducto, which can then get out Clockwork Knight, which can then get out Clockwork Knight. which gives us that little oomph in protection that we kind of do need, and may stop our opponent too. On top of that, Doubled Ingursu for removal and disruption, Zombie Vampire for sending things to the graveyard, and of course Hope Harbinger to stop the inevitable spells from being a problem. Continuing on down the line, we have 1 Chimera, 2 Slayer, who would be used to help get out the Drytron, which could then bring him right back out, hopefully with benefits. Battle Lord and Executor are both our turn disruption and protections, hopefully. Scavenger is, again, another big boy that we love to see. 2 Miracle Ravens to help with the ritualing, and also just, you know, because probably going to be my favorite Pendulum card at this point. 1 for 1, because it's pretty obvious that we're going to need. We have a core that we can use to get, and did something to help get it out, or just other things as well. 2 Pre-Props of Right, 2 Knights, 2 Origins, 1 Evolution, 2 of course, Methanas Drytron, 2 Ravenous, 2 Clockwork Knights, 2 King Sark, 2 Charges, 2 Droplets, 1 Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. In the extra deck, we have the Immortal Dragon, Psyframe Lord Omega, Skeletal Dragon Fern, Felgrand, Baron of Force, Red Eyes Dragon Zombie Lord, Chaos Angel. I explained these before. And then, of course, our Clockwork Knight, Reprotosaurus, and Avenged Savior. Again, my goal has always been to make Slayer the big boy, the big beefy boy. Now, yes, having Nightmare would be great for this. But it is very hard to make good use of. And at the same time, I just think it's better to just... This is the one I want to work the most. I'm going to be full stop. This is the one that I want to work the most, because I love the Vendread cards, and I wish they could do more besides just crumple in the meta. But we'll have to see if they can even do well, period. But that's for another video, because I've done a lot of talking here. These are all the decks and all the updated ones that I would be using to maybe get back into more Master Duel stuff. Maybe try to finally climb to Diamond, or even see if I can get a ranked duel done, if I can make it to Masters, if possible. Again, a lot of people have said it. Masters is literally just people who have played the most. But we'll see about that. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, you know what to do. Much appreciate you for doing it. Tonight, I just want to say, laters.